Hi, this is Sammy again. Today I'm gonna talk to you about Pythagoras. A lot of people in Pythagoras, the first thing they learn is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You don't really need to know a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You don't need to memorize anything. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'll explain to you how you could do these really fast without having to depend on the a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So stay tuned. So here's what Pythagoras was doing. What he was doing, he was drawing right angle triangles like this one right here, and then measuring the length of the sides, also making sure that using a protractor and making sure this is a 90-degree angle. And then what he does, he draws a square on every side of the triangle. So there's a square here, a square there, a square there. And then what he does, he finds the area of each square. So when he finds the area of each square, so for instance, the area in here is 3 times 3 is 9. The area in here is 5 times 5 is 25. And the area in here is 4 times 4 is 16. So he kept on drawing a lot of triangles and measuring and making sure it's a 90 degrees. What he always found, he found that every time he did this, when he added the area of these two squares, it always added up to the area of the big square, which is on the hypotenuse. So that's how he arrived to his theorem. And I know a lot of teachers adopted the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but I'll tell you what, if I'm giving you a right angle triangle, okay, and I give you, this is 8 and this is 12. Now, to find the missing side, you go square root of 12 squared minus 8 squared. So if it is the hypotenuse that you're finding instead of this, then you go this squared plus this squared, and you square root that, and that will give you the hypotenuse, what the hypotenuse is. But now, since you're given the hypotenuse and you're given another side, then you go 12 squared minus 8 squared and square root that. It'll give you what the answer is right here, and it will give you the length of the missing side. If I give you another triangle, and I give you this is 90, and I give you this is 3, and this is 7. Now, if you want to find the hypotenuse, then you go to square root of 3 squared plus 7 squared. So the key is, if you're finding the hypotenuse, you just do the square root of this side squared plus this side squared. But if you're giving the hypotenuse and you're finding one of the legs, then you go, it's the square root of the hypotenuse squared minus 8 squared. So this is just another alternative to using Pythagoras instead of memorizing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Just know, if you're finding the hypotenuse, then you go the square root of this leg squared plus this leg squared. But if you're given the hypotenuse and you're finding a leg, then you go the square root of the hypotenuse squared minus the leg. And here's another option. If you don't want to remember a squared plus b squared equals c squared, here it is. It's 12. It's the hypotenuse squared minus the given leg squared will give you the missing leg. If they give you the two legs, it's the square root of this leg squared plus this leg squared. It will give you what the hypotenuse is. So just square root right away, so you get the final answer. And that is another way of looking at Pythagoras. And that will give me 8.9. So this is the length of this. For this one here, I'm going to go square root of 3 squared plus 7 squared. And it gives me 7.6. So this is 7.6 right here. And that's another way of looking at Pythagoras instead of memorizing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Thanks for watching.